Melt the metal pellets in the ladle on a hot stove or hot plate at full power for about 20 minutes until fully liquid. Allow your child to apply the magic dust to both sides of the open rubber mold. Then clap them together about 3 times to get rid of the excess dust. The magic dust is a release agent that lets the air escape when you're putting the metal into the mold. By giving them a few claps together, you get rid of any build-up that might block the metal. Now assemble the mold by putting the support boards on first and then attach the support elastic bands over them. You are supplied with 4 bands, so attach them neatly and evenly around the mold, making sure that you don't inhibit the flow of metal in the mold holes on top. Try to avoid having the bands twisted. The support boards help spread the pressure of the elastic bands and insulate the mold when the metal goes into it. Make sure that when you're applying the elastic bands that they are never perished, because they could snap, and also evenly spaced so that they give equal support from top to bottom of the mold. As you can see here, each is spaced about 20-25% of the mold. Stir the metal with the stir stick for a few seconds and then push away any residue from the side of the ladle that you're going to be pouring from to make sure that it doesn't go into the mold. Then guide the child to make sure that she's comfortable holding the stirrer in to test it for about 10 seconds to see if it is hot enough. The stick should begin to burn and show some smoke if it is at the right temperature. Allow the child to hold the ladle while you hold the child's hand. Keep her other hand away from the mold and you hold the mold at the edge to make sure it doesn't topple over. Then rest the ladle on the mold and gently but firmly pour the metal quickly into the mold until it fills up to the top. The metal will have some weight, so take a little time to get a feel for the weight of the ladle before bringing it over. Always steady the mold because it could wobble, and then again just quickly pour right up to the top and then immediately start tapping the mold with something solid. This helps shake the metal into all little nooks and crannies and helps get rid of air pockets. It only needs to be hit about 5 to 10 seconds at most because the metal will begin to cool and it will become semi-solid. Allow the metal to cool for 5 to 6 minutes. You can tap the top of the metal with a stir stick or test it with your finger to see if it is cool enough to begin to open. Then unassemble the mold by removing the elastic bands first carefully so they can be reused, and the support boards. Leave the mold on the table and gently pull the 2 halves apart to expose the fairy inside. You can let this cool for another minute or so and then bend the mold and you can pop the figure out without damaging the mold. Now that you have the figure, you can start priming it with a little tub of primer included and then paint the figure to your liking.